Alright, you lot, welcome back. There is something that we need to talk about because we've been neglecting Trench Crusade and we've been neglecting the two-player starter box, or narrative box at least, which is the Carcass front. This has been floating about, lurking if you will, for some time, but frankly there was a whole flood of Warhammer-based stuff after Adepticon, and between that and various other things happening, I just never got round to looking at it, which is silly, because there's new miniatures, there's a whole bunch of stuff in there, and so it's only right that we take a look right now, in fact. So this is the box. This is Carcass front, £99.99. I mean, depending on the content, which, to be fair, we can see right here. That probably doesn't seem too bad. There's a dedicated book, a bunch of cards, a campaign tracker, a map. There's 16 miniatures in here as well, and those miniatures have two different assembly options. So, I mean, for a starter box for a game like this, and it feels about right, about on par at least. Oh, sorry, it's two campaigns. It's not just scenarios, two campaigns are going into it. Nice. As I said, we've got the Procession of the Sacred Affliction and the Heretic Naval Raiders, both as full warbands, and it's actually really nice to see them getting plastic releases. I mean, this early on in the sort of plastic life cycle for Trench Crusade as well, they're both really fun warbands. The artwork is really, really good for both. I do really like the Procession of the Sacred Affliction, and so, yeah, seeing them in plastic, really nice. Now, of course, if you are more of a 3D printer person, then there are plenty of versions of them or things similar to them on My Mini Factory and the like, but yeah, I mean, I prefer working in plastic personally, even though I print a hell of a lot of stuff. God knows there's enough right there, in fact. But yeah, I'm looking forward to getting my hands on these. So the first campaign is a two-player narrative campaign which features a series of bespoke linked scenarios themed around the raising and optionally slaying of Leviathan. That's very fun. And the second is a map-based campaign for 2 to 8 players that will see warbands battle over the resources and esoteric secrets of the Carcass front. And, oh, new mechanics as well. I like it. Now, before we get into the miniatures in this box, I've got some good news for those of you who live in the US, because I've seen you click through the Warmag links that have been in plenty of videos at this point, and you've been unable to buy anything because Warmag has not shipped to the US. But now, you have your own US Warmag site. So, those of you who've been attempting to support the channel by, using these links, you can now actually get hold of this stuff yourself, which is lovely. Now, as something to point out, as it says in the banner at the top there, dispatch times are going to be slower than normal initially, and right now the range isn't huge. There's not a massive amount on the store, but that will be increasing in the coming weeks and more stuff will be added. I mean, right now you do have the box builder. It's just what you can put in your box builder, or like the base sheets that you can select, aren't quite as numerous as you might be able to get in the other stores right now, as you can see. But that will change soon enough. Warmag are constantly updating and increasing their catalogue, and with this being a new store, it's just going to take a little bit of time to get fully up to speed. But the fact is, it is here for you now, and you can get your Warmag stuff if you so choose. Now, of course, if you're not fully familiar with Warmag, it is a magnetic transportation and storage system for your miniatures. You've got a really useful box, you've got a lovely fancy base sheet. This is a War Machine one. Those ones are available in the US, by the way. And yeah, essentially, you stick your base sheet in your box, then you've got your lads, you have magnets in the rim of the base, you pull them in there, you shake them about, they don't go anywhere, they are perfectly safe. And when they're on the battlefield, you have no idea that the magnet is even there because it's flush to the inside of the base. Good stuff! Follow the links in the description and the pinned comment down below to check Warmag out, and use my code KIRIOTH for a cheeky discount at checkout. Remember, if you're in the EU, there's an EU site. If you're in the UK, there's a UK site. And now if you're in the US, you've got your own site as well. Thanks to Warmag for sponsoring the video. Let's get back to it. Now, it is worth pointing out that, as they say here, not all contents are shown in the product images. More will be revealed as we move towards the launch date. Now, I haven't seen anything more yet, so we do have a nice gallery mode, which is very helpful, and the presentation of it is really good. I will say the presentation is very nice, it looks decent, and when it comes to the warbands themselves, I really do like the Procession of the Sacred Affliction because it's a very fun idea for a warband. So they are all about leprosy. They contract it intentionally, and there's some fun stuff going on, again, with the whole millstone thing that they've got. The usage of one of the ecclesiastic prisoners over there that seems to have a sea mine helmet, that's a very fun little twist on that already existing unit. Like that a lot. And I like that big sea mine bit of scenery they've got in the front there. I do think the Heretic Naval Raiders look fantastic as well. They're an interesting warband because in some ways they feel a bit more sci-fi than you might expect. Like, I know Trench Crusade is sort of all over the place when it comes to things that look like it would be at home in World War One, and also stuff that looks straight out of something closer to Warhammer 40k, frankly, in some cases. But the Heretic Naval Raiders straddle that line pretty effectively. Now, as far as I know, this is being produced by Archon Studio again, so when it comes to the plastics and the overall quality of the models, I've got no doubt that it'll be good. Like, Archon Studio do really, really good plastic miniatures. Their sculpts are on point 99% of the time. The range of dragons that they've got, I've got, I think, every one of those now, just because of how good they are. I don't need that many dragons, but I like them. And I've got enough of their dungeons and lasers, terrain and stuff, including the miniatures that they've started doing for that too, that, yeah, I've got no worries about how good these will be to put together. I do really like these staging shots, though. These look great. Very good way to get the atmosphere across for these. Oh, I mean, look at that. That is a very fun-looking miniature. The detail on the millstone that they're being carved in the middle, I really like that a lot. And the way the rope has been tied around the centre and then spreads out slightly, it's very nicely done. The cross on the back, that is chunky. And I like the kind of over-the-top nature of it, not just in the fact that it's so big compared to the miniature itself, because it is a pretty hefty thing to be carrying around into battle, but those smaller crosses being nailed to it as well are very fun. The Procession of the Sacred Affliction, they do have a pretty cool colour scheme as well, with having all the bandages and stuff, and then being primarily yellow for their clothing. It works super well, and I really like the way this has been done. Even things like the sword, having a few notches and pits in the blade, that's just a nice little touch. Everything looks weathered, it looks beaten. Nothing looks kind of untouched on these guys, which really fits the theme, given that they're all about the sort of sacred disease of leprosy. Having that approach, I think, works super well. And yeah, this is a very, very cool looking dude. Also, the usage of bells on this guy, like that a lot. I like that a lot. There is a bit of an association between those who suffer from leprosy and wearing bells to warn others, and that kind of association being brought out in the model, it's a nice touch. It works super well. Oh, look at that. Again, we're straight off with the bells. I mean, that is very significantly, very clearly kind of, here you go. We are on the way. The usage of the millstone on that guy as a weapon is a very neat touch. That's very cool. Being more heavily armoured up top, then painting it and keeping it nice and rusty works super well, but actually wielding the millstone as a weapon, admittedly, I don't know. I mean, they are very strong. To be fair, I was going to say I don't know how effective it would be, because that is a huge amount of weight to try swinging around at the end of a rope, but they are pretty damn strong. So actually, maybe not the thing to pick up on. But the helmet design, I say helmet, the head design, where you've got all these crisscrossing bandages covering the entire face, covering the entire helmet, just these gas masks poking out. It's such cool imagery. It looks great. It looks super menacing. It looks really creepy as well. Just great design overall. Again, little things like the cloth being torn and ripped, and there's little holes all over it. I have to admit, there's something about the axe on that one that I'm not a massive fan of. I think the way that the wrapping is done around the haft, it looks a bit too, I don't know, it looks a little bit, not low detail, but it's too clean. When you look at the wrappings around the face and the head and around the arms, you've got this kind of untidiness to it. There's ends poking out, there's little notches, there's little rips and stuff. I mean, even on the millstone around the neck there, you've got this overlapping feel, which looks super good. But where my eye is kind of expecting it to be similar, it's not. It just feels a little bit plain, which is a shame, because the actual axe head and the haft, I think, look really, really cool. Those have been done nicely. It's just the wrapped section that, for some reason, isn't fitting quite as well. I do like the inclusion of a classic Molotov cocktail there, although I actually feel like a bit of sculpted fire would work well for that. Not a huge amount, just enough for you to know that it's there. It is clear as to what it is, but I'd like a bit more, something a bit more actiony out of it than we currently get with how it looks with the cloth unlit. But I am also willing to admit that, you know, having kind of fire effects on stuff, it's not everyone's cup of tea. So I'm not a massive proponent for sticking flames on everything, but just every now and again, there's something where it would work, and I feel like for that it would work. I am also really liking the little portraits of like holy figures as well on these, because it is mentioned that they have got those, they do wear them, and they tend to be mysteriously bulletproof, so actually seeing those is very cool. Oh, and there's the Naval Raiders. The helmets are great. They are creepy, they're weird, they look a little bit alien, a little bit sinister. The kind of 3-lens approach is very, very fun. I'd like the overall sort of rugged nature of them as well. They do have that reminiscent feel of old diving suits, but then they're also just carrying guns, which is a very good aesthetic. Let's be honest, it's a classic aesthetic at this point. One could argue at this point it may even become a little bit tropey, but I don't mind because of how fun it is. That cloth hood that's over the squad leader there, I can't remember. I feel like there's a specific special forces unit that have like chainmail over their helmets, but I can't remember what country they're from. But it's kind of reminding me a bit of that. It's obviously a bit of like executioner vibes as well, but there is something specific that is being jogged in my memory from that look. And it works. It's good. It looks sinister, it looks creepy, looks threatening. The combination of that with that extremely utilitarian and quite nasty looking axe is very good. Also, having the hook on the end of the blade there, I can't remember exactly what that's called, but it feels like there's a sort of boarding hook or like boat hook aspect, which, yeah, again, I really like it. The poses are decent as well. Like, we've got a good in-action firing pose, we've got one that's more at ease. That charging, the running forward, looks great. Also, things like the smoke grenade on the base there, like that a lot. The smoke is maybe a little bit messy, but overall it looks pretty solid. And again, the staging for these shots, very, very effective. Like it. So we've got some individual model shots as well. A bit easier to pick out some of the details. The chain around the neck looks great. I do like the way they've painted it to have that kind of rusty effect, especially on the, on like, is it greaves as well that are around the arms as well as like the lower legs? Either way, the sort of pitted rusted metal look is perfect for them. And I really like the cloth parts of the suit. Looks really, really good. I'm so tired at the moment, it's taken me until just now to remember that this is the War Prophet. Because they've got the speakers and the cables, and they talk and then it shouts out and it inspires / scares people into doing what they want. I am not with it today. I'm absolutely not with it. But it looks solid. Again, I love the design on the millstone. That's just standing out as being something that's very fun, very cool. That poor prisoner is going to have a terrible time by the look of things, given that they are properly chained up around the neck and the arms. I would not be surprised if their mine / helmet situation is actually a mine and will explode. It seems highly likely. The number of bandages is really, really good. Also, you can see some of the boils and sores and stuff. Gruesome and not fun. I really do like this though. The massive lock around the collar / helmet, that's super fun. Works great. I don't think I'd really picked up on how many pouches this guy has. That is a lot of pouches. That, properly kitted out there for I don't know what. I don't really know why they've got that much extra storage, but sure. Again, the axe is not quite hitting right for me, but I will say that big contraption with the belt on top, that looks very fun. I didn't really appreciate how good the pose on this one was when it was in the group shot. Like, that's a proper action running, about to clock someone upside the head with a very, very heavy thing pose, and it looks fantastic. Also, having a smaller millstone as a halo type thing behind the head, oh, lovely. The flamethrower lad looks solid. Again, we've got those portraits, those images on the armor which look great. That's going to take some freehand though, isn't it? That's going to take some freehand. That's not going to arrive with that painted already in. You're going to have to do that yourself, and oh, that's going to be a pain, especially if you're not good at it like me. Yeah, the hood looks fantastic. Again, the way the bandages have been done, I like that a lot. And the actual flamethrower itself, it's a flamethrower, and it's got a sort of bayonet attachment, and it's got an axe attachment. What more could you possibly want? No matter how close they are, you're going to do something horrible to them, and I love that. That helmet is mental. Love that. Love the carvings. It's very over the top. Very, very over the top. Is that polearm got some sort of, like, gun thing attached to it? What's going on with the haft of that? I really want to know what's going on with the haft of it. I can't quite make it out. There is something, though. There is something interesting. It looks like it should... Wait, is it more of a harpoon situation than I thought? Maybe it is. Look, either way, that is a brutal-looking weapon, and it seems scary. The armour looks great. It's pitted, it's scored, it's carved as well. The detail of having the stomach look like intestines, gross. Love that. All of it being red is actually not doing it that many favours in terms of picking out detail, because it's all sort of blending into one. Like the cloth being red too. Stylistically, I'm not sure that everything being red actually works that well on the model, but I think the model itself is solid. Also, the hooks with the heads hanging off them, gross. Gross and effective. Also, a tactical gird is a thing. Is that what the equivalent is in Trench Crusade? You get tactical girders? Because you know what? I'm okay with it. Oh, we got a grenade launcher, lad. That actually looks very fun. The mass of chains and hooks is a very over-the-top motif for these, but I do think it adds something to them. It adds, I was going to say, a certain kind of weight, which I'm not trying to be funny. I just think it genuinely makes them look a bit chunkier, just for the fact they're carrying all this stuff around. The launcher itself looks really cool. The detail on the like wooden stock of it, that's very good. Like that a lot. The posing on that is really, really nice. Like that, and yeah. Oh, I hadn't realised that this one was kneeling on a big pipe. That's actually way cooler than I thought. I like that a lot. Bit of interacting with the environment. Nice. The guns look gnarly as anything. They look properly corroded and messed up. Like, kind of, how are these even functioning anymore? But, I mean, it works. It fits the aesthetic really, really well. It's nice seeing their big sort of diving tank on the back as well. That looks very cool. Very rugged. Very industrial. Oh, my mistake. I confused the last one, the one that's kneeling on the pipe, with the one that we'd seen earlier with the, what is the name of that fish that's got the weird face? What a terrible description. Is anyone going to know what that is based off that? Probably not. I mean, you can see it right there. It's the... Is it a sawfish? That makes sense, doesn't it? Not swordfish. That's not the password, even though the password always is swordfish. The sawfish. I think that's what it is. Either way, that combined with the skull being held on by the leather straps there looks fantastic. And again, having the hooked blade as part of the bayonet is just very cool, very fun. I really do like that pose though. That pose is fantastic. So there we go, that's the Carcass front box so far. It looks like there's going to be more stuff added, but that's what is currently available to check out. We will of course check back in with it in the future, see what else they've added to it. And yeah, let me know what you think of that in the comments down below. Thank you again to Warmag for sponsoring the video. Do check them out using the links in the description and in the pinned comment down below. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you for the next one.